Hi, friends, and welcome to Avery's backyard. It's going to be the bestest day ever. I have so many plans. First, I'm going to ask Avery to take me to the dog park where I can play with all my doggy friends. Then, I'm going to eat some dog treats. Then I'm going to sniff around the backyard until I find the perfect stick. And then I'm going to play fetch with Avery. Oh boy, this is going to be so much fun.
What's going to be so much fun, Elvis?
Hi, Avery. I was just telling our friends about our big plans for today.
Oh, really? Well, I have some plans for you too.
You do?
Yes. Elvis, today is the day that you go to the groomers. You need to get a haircut. You've become quite the shaggy dog.
But I don't want to go to the groomers, Avery. I want to go to the dog park and play with my friends.
Maybe we can do that later, but first we must go to the groomers.
This is not going to be a fun day.
Elvis, I know going to the groomers isn't your favorite, but I need you to have a good attitude, okay?
Can't I wait to get a haircut? It's not too shaggy.
Elvis, I can barely see your eyes. Besides, winter's over. It's time for you to get rid of all that extra fur so you can be cooler.
I guess you're right.
Good boy. Now, I hear the mail truck. Friends, will you keep an eye on Elvis for me? I'm gonna go get my mail. Be right back.
And just like that, the best day ever is not the best day ever. Oh, hi, squirrel. You are lucky. You don't have to go to the groomers. You have short fur, squirrel, so you don't have to go get a haircut. If only there were some way to get my hair cut without having to go to the groomers. Wait a minute. I might have an idea. Now, where does Avery keep her gardening scissors? Aha! Now I can cut my own hair. Then I won't have to go to the groomers. I've watched the groomer do it so many times. I'm sure it can't be that hard. What do you mean, a bad idea? It'll be fine. Watch me, squirrel. I'm going to give myself a haircut. What are you doing? Stop! Ow!
Elvis, what's going on?
Oh, Avery, my paw.
What happened?
I fell, and I kind of landed on your gardening scissors, and I hurt my paw.
Oh dear. Here, I think you need a Band-Aid.
Thanks, Avery.
You're welcome, but Elvis, what were you doing with my gardening scissors? You weren't trying to cut your hair, were you?
Well, how did you know?
Just a good guess.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have tried to take matters into my own paws. It's just that I didn't want to go to the groomers. I wanted to go to the dog park. I thought if I cut my own hair, then I wouldn't have to go.
But you ended up getting hurt instead.
Yeah. Oh, why do I always have to learn the hard way?
It's okay, Elvis. You're not the only one. In fact, this morning I was reading in the Bible about a man who had to learn a hard lesson too.
Really? Did he not want to get a haircut?
Actually, yes.
What?
You see, God had given Samson special rules to follow, and one of those rules was that he was not supposed to cut his hair.
That's kind of a weird rule.
Maybe, but when God gives us a rule, no matter how weird, We're supposed to obey.
What happened?
Well, let me go get my Bible and I'll read you the story.
Oh boy, can our friends listen too?
Of course. Friends, come along with us as we learn the story of Samson and the hard lesson he learned about doing things his own way rather than God's way. After God brought his people into the promised land, the Israelites turned away from him and did much evil. So God allowed them to be captured by the Philistines, who treated them badly for 40 years. In those days, there was a man named Manoah. Manoah and his wife were unable to have children. However, one day, an angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and said, "You will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and his hair will never be cut, for he will be dedicated to God as a Nazirite, and he will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistines." Everything happened as the angel said. When her son was born, she named him Samson, and the Lord blessed him as he grew up. Samson became known for his incredible strength. On several occasions, he destroyed many Philistines. However, he also had a selfish spirit and a bad temper. Sometime later, Samson fell in love with a woman named Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "Get Samson to tell you what makes him so strong and what his weakness is. Then each of us will give you 1,100 pieces of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me what makes you so strong and what it would take to tie you up securely." Samson replied, "If I were tied up with 7 new bowstrings, then I would become as weak as anyone else." So the Philistine rulers brought Delilah 7 new bowstrings, and she tied Samson up with them. Then she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." But Samson broke the bowstrings easily and freed himself, so the secret of his strength was not discovered. Afterward, Delilah said to him, "You've been telling me lies. Now please tell me how you can be tied up securely." Samson told Delilah to tie him with brand new ropes that had never been used. So Delilah took new ropes and tied him up with them. And again, Delilah cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." But again, Samson broke the ropes from his arms as if they were thread. Delilah pouted, "How can you tell me I love you when you don't share your secrets with me?" And she pestered him day after day until he was sick of it. Finally, Samson shared his secret with her. "My hair has never been cut," he said, "for I was dedicated to God as a Nazirite from birth. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me." Delilah realized he had told her the truth, so she sent for the Philistine rulers. "Come back one more time, for he finally has told me his secret." So the Philistine rulers returned. Delilah lulled him to sleep and then called to a man to shave off his hair. Then she cried out, "Samson, the Philistines have come to capture you." When Samson woke up, he thought, "I will do as before and shake myself free." But he didn't realize that the Lord had left him. The Philistines captured him and took him to prison, where they bound him with bronze chains. But before long, his hair began to grow back. The Philistines had a huge feast in their temple where they worshiped their false god. They demanded, "Bring out Samson so he can perform for us." Samson went to the center pillars that held up the temple. Then he prayed to the Lord, "Remember me, O God, and give me strength just one more time." Then Samson pushed against the center pillars and the temple came crashing down. Even though Samson had made many mistakes in his life, God still used him to rescue his people from the Philistines.
I see through eyes of faith, knowing his ways are better than Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him. 'Cause obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him. When I have a choice to do what's right or to do what I want to do, oh, I will do my best to follow him and to love what I know is true. Yes, he loves me, he's always with me. I will trust and obey. 'Cause obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him. 'Cause obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him. I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in the Lord God. Oh, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in him. I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in the Lord God. Oh, I will trust, I will trust, I will trust in him. 'Cause obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him. 'Cause obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. Obedience leads to faithfulness. That's why I trust in him.
Ah, it feels good not to be a shaggy dog anymore. I can actually see you now, Avery.
You did a great job at the groomers, Elle.
I was just thinking about the story of Samson. Even though I didn't really want to go to the groomers, I knew it would be better to follow your way than trying to do things my way.
That's great. Friends, in the story of Samson, we saw how he did things his own way. He was selfish, he lied, and he shared a secret that he was not supposed to share. Samson did not have self-control. Friends, do you know what self-control is? It is when we choose to do the right thing, even when we really want to do something else. Like Elvis learned today, when we don't have self-control and try to do things our way, sometimes we end up getting hurt. Speaking of which, how is your paw feeling now, Elvis?
It is feeling much better now. I think it's ready to go play fetch at the dog park.
Okay, we can go to the dog park now.
Hooray!
Friends, thanks for joining us today. Remember, doing things God's way is always best for us. He loves you very much, and you are very special to him.